Hey everybody, this is Rydo and we are back with another recording of Hearthstone. Today is Friday, April 6th. We're playing the Asian account. We need to get 3 more victories and then playing 10 combo cards should be pretty easy. Although we don't really need to wait for that, so I could probably just make a combo card deck. Let's just stick with what we're doing right now, though. We're just trying to play Murloc and get victories. We're playing casual because we weren't making any progress. Like, we're not even really making progress to get to rank 23. Let alone rank 20. We're so not winning. I'm just gonna mostly wait until the new card packs happen, and then maybe I'll get a bump. We have somebody new on the chat that came on a few months, who's, I don't know if they're just trolling, but they certainly are violating the rule about video game talk. So they're probably trolling. We'll see if they post anything else. I could, like, over here, video game talk. No, I can't fully blame people for thinking they can say whatever they want, because we were talking a little bit about Star Wars and Lego toys too, but I guess it's video game talk only on the chat unless it has direct relevance to what I'm talking about right now. So if I veer off topic, then responses to me veering off topic are acceptable, otherwise not. Let's see. Gamatsu has an article, Mega Dimension Neptune VIIR Goddess Next Forms has some screenshots. I believe that is all the name. Yes. Forms, Next Forms is still part of the name. And it's just like 3 screenshots. Gosh, man. I really hate when they do articles like this. It's just like, who cares? It's a few screenshots. I don't even know what this game is. Let's see if I can click back and let's see. Well, has visual enhancements as a key feature. Waifus go 3D. New world, new fights. So there is some kind of fighting mechanism in it. Console wars go next gen, transforming into even more powerful next forms. Virtual relaxation, customize your VR room. This is going to be a crazy VR game. It's coming out for the PlayStation 4 May 8th in North America and May 11th in Europe. All these VR games from Japan, they certainly seem to have a different idea about the way what people want or the way they go about it. They may have the right ideas as far as chat, as far as VR, not chat, VR. Let's see. Visual Concepts is looking for a senior software engineer in Novato, California. I may have already talked about this job, so let's just see if we can find a little bit about Visual Concepts as a company. Go to their website and let's see. It's a 2K company, so this might just be a different name for that 2K job listing we saw before. Let's see, about culture. Last time I saw this job listing, I think it is the same job. They didn't even have a name for their company, and now they're changing it. Says they work on NBA 2K and WWE 2K. and they're a subsidiary of Take-Two Interactive. It's like a lot of twos in the name. Let's see. This, and this, and that. Moving on, Spyro Reignited Trilogy has been listed for the Switch on the Nintendo UK website. This is also around an announcement for it to be on the PlayStation 4 and Xbox One. Spyro Reignited will launch for the PS4 and Xbox One September 21st. It includes high definition remasters of Spyro the Dragon, Spyro 2, Ripto's Regel, and Spyro Year of the Dragon. The Switch version, if one exists, is yet to be announced. Spyro is an interesting one there, certainly, because it's not a game that I have any real familiarity with. Spyro is the Sonic to Sonic, where Mario would have been the best known and most popular mascot-like character. Spyro is this PlayStation character that is kind of a mascot, but somewhere in between Crash Bandicoot, which would have been the more official mascot, and like I guess maybe a more kid-friendly thing, or at least it looks kid-friendly. Could be the Spyro games aren't that kid-friendly. Conker might be a good example too of a similar character. Conker was this kid-friendly character until Rare decided to not make him kid-friendly in order to break their contract. So then they made Conker's Bad Fur Day, which was by far the most historically relevant of all the Conker games. But it's kind of crazy that Conker is in Diddy Kong's Racing, and it's kind of crazy that there's a Diddy Kong's Racing. Like, I guess that's why we have Mario Kart now, and not, well, Mario Kart came before Diddy Kong's Racing, so there is kind of this weird question. I think Rare also made Diddy Kong's Racing, so that's probably the reason why we haven't seen any more. It'd be interesting to see how well Spyro plays, because if it's just going to be high definition graphics, that's great, but it probably needs a better controller setup and like smoother gameplay, little tweaks to the story. It's still gonna probably be a very limited experience. Maybe this is the beginning of somebody's effort to make a new Spyro the Dragon game. Certainly in VR, there could be some desire to do something in VR for flying around as a dragon game. I'm sure somebody's done it already. But yeah, they need a full reboot. And if they were going to do a reboot, doing remasters is a good way to get some advertisement, but it is also putting a lot of money in remasters for a game series that I don't think too many people are going to be super interested in. Next we have a game that is clearly just a troll fake game. From the developer who also brought you Do You Know the Way. There is a game called Bomber-Un with a picture, an MS Paint drawing of Kim Jong-un, and it is sort of like Bomberman, but not even as good as that. It has an all-time peak of 5 people, which is far too high. 35% off for 64 cents. No reviews. Soundtrack ridiculousness. Do not buy this game. Do not buy any game from Hardcore Studio. Like this is clearly just a cheap troll job, hoping to get maybe some YouTubers or somebody to cover this. And frankly, you know, the idea doesn't sound too crazy that you would to just have a cover a game like this to get some views. Although, you know, with the way YouTube cracks down on controversies, this certainly could just also get your channel flagged covering a game like this for the lulz. Probably not, but maybe. Man, I really hate Eurogamer's new look. It is so bad. Like, and more often than not, when somebody makes a new version of their website or something, it does look horrible. Anyways, the story is arcade classic Toki, which I haven't heard of it, so it couldn't have been that classic, is getting a gorgeous Switch remake later this year from the duo behind the SNES platformer Mr. Nuts, which, despite the name, I don't believe Mr. Nuts was as offensive of a game as you would probably assume. Let's see. Let's watch the trailer for it and see. And meanwhile, I guess we'll try Classic Shaman. Trying to get victories. So Toki is some kind of gorilla that spits out energy balls, and you platform and you shoot things. Creatures fly ahead of you. Seems like there's some kind of zombie and other kind of creatures attacking you that are getting in your way, at least. You jump around and collect apples and other things. It seems like in this trailer, in comparison, they're remastering the graphics of the old game and the engine of the old game, but they're not really doing anything different. Apparently this guy has a helmet the monkey can wear, which protects him from one hit of damage. You know, this game Toki looks crazy enough that I would play it just as like a new game, and not even be too concerned that it's a remake. Basically, it's effectively a shot-for-shot remake, it seems, of the old game. Feels like some of the Double Fine games where you can go back and press the back button and switch to the original graphics at any point. As the original version of this game looks like it probably was no better than any other number of platformers that came out during the time. It's like they're all right, but this game does look pretty boring for what you're doing. Just jumping around and fighting people, and the action's pretty slow. That feeling is going to probably be very prevalent if you're just remaking an old game. Over the decades, playing and fighting characters and playing games has sped up quite a bit. Well, that's interesting, I suppose. Yeah, I might try look for Toki, that if it came to PC. I'll search Steam to see if it is out. One game that is out on Steam is one called Light from a company called Indie Light for $1.99. What kind of game is this? So I see all of the games that come out on Steam by following a Twitter feed called What's on Steam, which has some subsidiary Twitter accounts. One that will take the trailers from games that have video trailers and cut them down into like 5-second GIFs. And then I just found out they have one that does that specifically just for visual novels. So if you wanted to only see the videos of visual novel games, that there's a Twitter out there for you. It's called like Micro Trailers Visual Novels. Okay, so this game Light looks like it is your standard space shooter, low effort game. Something that somebody who just got out of video game programming college, if such a college existed, which a couple of them do, who just got a degree in video game programming might put out as a project. Like 6 kinds of ships, dynamic levels, it says. It has a Metacritic rating of 49, which is incredibly low. Incredibly low. And way too expensive, so nobody's gonna spend the money for a not visually appealing, repetitive looking concept. So forget that. We already talked about Spyro, so I'm looking at some more pictures of Spyro the Dragon from a different person who covered the same article. It looks alright, but it doesn't look great. Doesn't look like a brand new game, certainly. 4 years later, Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn is finally releasing in June. So it will be for the PS4, Xbox One, PC, and Switch on June 5th. Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn is, I suppose, the continuation of the previous game, Shaq Fu game, where I don't even know what kind of game is it. I don't think it's a basketball game. No, well, no, this is just a brawler. It's a street beat 'em up brawler game. I will certainly be interested to play that when it comes out. Probably not actually play it on when it comes out. Whenever I get around to playing it. So yeah, it took them quite a long time. I believe this was a Kickstarter game. It's a comedy beat 'em up. Let's see. Yeah, it was crowdfunded in 2014, partially because somebody pledged $4,000 to have lunch and a game of basketball with Shaquille O'Neal. So somebody certainly helped it. So yeah, Shaq Fu: A Legend Reborn. Keep an eye out for that, because it'll be interesting to talk about, even if it is a pretty generic game. Let's see. Lemon Lover goes, okay, Rydo, you sometimes call me a troll, but come on, look at the comments above me. Oh no, that definitely is a troll. Above you. Tragic Master put smiley face. Those are definitely troll comments. I just didn't bother to delete them. They definitely are. They're not the wholesome trolling that I think you sometimes do. So you're still much better than what that was. Like, I think Lemon Lover, if he is intentionally wholesome trolling, he is doing an expert level of it. Like, you show some real skill and restraint. Let's see. PC Gamer has an article, Wormhole Wars is Halo plus Portal and the most disappointing competitive first-person shooter I've ever played. So, that sounds like I like Portal, so the idea seems interesting. Although I don't like Halo multiplayer. Let's see what I want to do. So I'm watching some gameplay of this game, Wormhole Wars, and it looks like it's a 3D medieval map that has specific surfaces that are clearly labeled and designed to only allow portals to be placed. So only specific places. And that was true in Portal too, is that only the white surfaces in a room, even if the room was mostly white surfaces, could have portals placed on them. Yeah, so I guess if you want a really, really crazy first-person shooter that probably won't have much skill involved in it unless a lot of people got into this, you'd play Wormhole Wars. But I've never heard of this game, so it's probably not being made by a big company, so it probably won't get enough support over the time to get a big enough audience. So yeah, I can't really recommend anybody play Wormhole Wars until they start seeing other people and their friends playing Wormhole Wars. And until then, you can't, yeah, I mean, you just ignore it. It'll probably get better before it gets worse. Lemon Lover goes, ha ha ha, well thank you. Lemon Lover smiley face, thank you, Rydo. That was a heartwarming compliment, no troll. On a side note, you reminded me about trolling. You may have noticed, if you follow me on Twitter, that I retweeted somebody's comment about the most recent Creator Insider email that YouTube creators get, where the guy says, "Thanks so much, YouTube. This is such helpful information. My 4 subscribers will really benefit from this," or something along that line. That's not an exact quote, but very close. The reason I retweeted it is because Team YouTube retweeted it. Like, they are so stupid and so tone deaf that they don't even know when somebody's being sarcastic. Like, clearly the person is being sarcastic because that email was awful. It was so bad, and it ended with like, maybe this will inspire you. Here's our new gold diamond play button. You know, that play button that nobody will ever get except for like 100 people at all. And probably not even that many, because I doubt anybody that already has a diamond play button will get a new one. And I doubt that many new people will get diamond play buttons, as YouTube is actively trying to suppress everybody. And not to get too much into the YouTube shooter thing, we really didn't get any more news or anything out of it, but it seems to be as simple as the lady was crazy and she had some legitimate grievances against YouTube's policy, and apparently it's not interesting enough story for the news media to talk about YouTube's terrible policies. But there has been a considerable amount of people not really being too sympathetic to YouTube. And I think that's perfectly accurate and fair, because YouTube's been so horrible that to the viewers, to the content creators, to everybody. There's been a couple people who have made some videos about victim blaming YouTube, and I'm like, well, I mean, yeah, it is victim blaming, but that's not always the wrong thing to do. Like, if you're walking down a very dangerous street and you're covered in gold jewelry, and you might get robbed, and so YouTube could have done a lot of stuff to protect itself, just having better security in their own offices, certainly, and being a better company, being a better person. Like, it. Not a lot of people are coming to their defense. Not a lot of people are gonna stop criticizing YouTube for more than a week, because nobody likes YouTube, and they're so stupid and tone deaf that they seem not to realize that at all. And maybe this incident will be the thing that wakes them up and goes, oh yeah, everybody hates us. Like, something horrible happened to us and it really wasn't our fault, and nobody's really coming to our aid, or the people that are coming to their aid. And I imagine there probably are, like, some of the sycophantic largest YouTubers probably are privately messaging them, and that's probably all they hear is that, oh yeah, your best content creators that you flood all your money to, the people you're paying, certainly like you, no duh. But I don't want to get into much of a rant about that, but yeah. I think I also got the information wrong. I think the numbers wasn't that she had like 100,000 subscribers. It was more like she had 10,000 subscribers. In comparison to my 250, though, she was still way more successful than me and making a lot less money than I was. So, like, her argument seems to be accurate. And as somebody who seemed like they had mental deficiencies, I wonder if she felt like she couldn't work any other jobs and maintain other jobs because of that, and YouTube was the one place where you could work your own hours and make some money off of that. There's certainly there's a store in the United States called Goodwill that hires and pays people who have disabilities, usually mentally disabilities, under minimum wage. They've lobbied and gotten exemptions to pay people with mental disabilities like $2 an hour, $3 an hour, and limited hours a lot of times too, partially because those people can't work like full 8-hour shifts, and partially because they just don't want to pay them. And Goodwill acts like it's this like great charity, but it really isn't. It's a for-profit business. But I have heard that people who work at Goodwill and have disabilities would much prefer to do that than sit around and do nothing at their house, which is frankly where they should be. They should be on welfare at their house, just enjoying their life. And that's part of my idea of like running my YouTube channel too, is I always want to curb desires for it to eventually pay the bills with just also the remembering that this was supposed to be a fun thing. This is supposed to be me playing video games and just keeping a visual diary of my experience. That's why I typically don't try to just sell out and play what I think will be popular. I'd prefer to play things that I think would be fun. That being said, I am gonna have to train myself, and I've forgotten twice now to ask people to click the notification bell. I'm starting to feel like, as annoying as I find it at the beginning of videos for people to say, to start the video and say, hey, hit that subscription, please subscribe and click the notification bell. It seems like YouTube has made it so you have to do that if you want to get any subscribers. And that certainly might explain what could be a strangely low amount of subscribers on my channel. Anyways, moving on. The next game we have on Steam is called Poker Simulator 2018. It is the second game made by this developer. It's 15% off, $4.24. So is this a real game where you play poker, or is this a simulator game where you, let's see, learn and play and win? Poker played on a PC has now reached a new standard gameplay. Not only can you play poker, but you'll be taught how to improve your game and surprise your friends. Well, the graphics on this look horrible. And what I've typically found is, while you can get some of some of the Telltale poker games that are kind of interesting to play, I found that the good looking and good versions of poker games are often on their own websites so that they can force you to spend real money and gamble real money, which is not what you would want to do if you're trying to learn how to play competitive poker and not just, you know, simple between friends poker for pennies or something. This looks horrible as far as this game is, and I don't see why you'd want to do that. Strategies for poker have not really improved or changed on a yearly basis, not by that much. So there's really no reason why you'd want to buy an ugly version of this. I suppose if I was to type in poker into Steam, like, the first thing that comes up is Poker Night 2, which is the sequel to Poker Night at the Inventory, which is good. And then the third one is Royal Casino Video Poker, which is not poker. So that's a slot machine. I don't know why I'm doing this. Why don't I just concede? Yeah, save myself some time. There was a good poker game that was on Xbox Live, and I think they tried to bring a new version of that onto Steam, but it didn't really interest me. There's Jackpot Poker by Poker Stars, which is 43% are positive. Let's see. So if I sort this by user reviews, well, that doesn't work at all, because that puts Regency Solitaire as one of the highest rated games that comes up under poker. Tabletop Simulator. Yeah. Why wouldn't you just play poker on Tabletop Simulator? Or Lucky Night Texas Hold'em VR is free to play. Why Firewatch comes up from under the search phrase of poker, I don't know. Man, you really gotta search by relevance. They need to improve their relevance searches, I think, on Steam. There's a game called Governor of Poker 2. Poker Simulator does come up on the first page, but there's a ton of pokers. Maybe you would prefer to play Pretty Girls Battle Texas Hold'em. 52% of 85 users say that is positive. Let's see. I'm trying to see some of these that would be rated good. It really is just obvious that you should play Tabletop Simulator. Or if you really do want to gamble and you're at that point where you think you can get away with it, because I don't think it's legal in the United States anymore to gamble online. I don't think it ever was really legal. There was certainly a lot of people saying it was legal for a while, and a lot of people doing it, and then those websites got shut down, and the people that had money in those websites just lost it. They lost their money. So, but I bet there's probably some websites you could still probably play if you want to play for real money that would be as good, if not better, than trying to find a video game version of it. Like, Jackpot Poker by Video Stars, for instance, does look like it is a probably poor cell phone port. That's the other thing, is if you're gonna play poker, why not play it on your cell phone, whether for money or not? Then you have a portable game that you can play all the time. Let's do this, and then do this, and then do this, and then do this. Next story we have from Eurogamer: Lawbreakers developer confirmed it's now focusing on other projects. So Lawbreakers, was Lawbreakers ever even released? Yeah, it was. The game's peak player count on Steam in March was 25, with only 3 players online at the time of writing. That's the Steam database saying that. Steam database plugin, because I use that too. Might as well kill this guy and just move forward. Like, I don't even remember what Lawbreakers is. Getting some weird resonating sounds in my headphones. Let's see if I can hear that. Or maybe I'm being a little nasally, or maybe my headphones. I was wondering if my headphones might just be broken completely. And that might be part of the reason with the audio issues I've been having lately, of video game sound just not sounding the right way. But no, I don't know. Just keep on playing. Yeah. Let's look at the reveal trailer for Lawbreakers. I think probably it's a Destiny-like game in a world where Destiny 2 is failing pretty miserably. Yeah, this trailer just looks like some kind of Destiny-like game. Next game we have on Steam is called Elude, E-L-U-D-E. It's from a developer who hasn't released anything else, for 99 cents. Came out April 6th. And you're this white light of creature, like a kind of worm, like bright white light that's avoiding and swimming in a blackness of space, avoiding these red light worm creatures, who sometimes the red ones leave lines behind and sometimes they don't. So seems like you just fly around eluding them. It has 8 Steam achievements, so it's really not anything like that. It seems like somebody's actually trying to sell this, but there's no reviews, and it's 99 cents for something that I couldn't really justify this being much more than a minigame. Like, honestly, if this was a hacking minigame where you were just flying around in space avoiding, say, viruses or antivirus software, and then the further you go, the higher your the higher your score is, and the more like currency you get. If it was just a little mini game inside some other game, I'd be okay with this. But playing it by itself for 99 cents, it's just looks like it would be immediately boring. Although it is nicely visual. Next game we have is called Hovercraft Drive. Came out April 6th. It's from the creator we've seen before that's flooding the Steam market with a bunch of VR games. Although this one is not a VR game. It's just an ugly looking asset flip of a hovercraft on top of some asset flipped locations, best I can tell. $4.99. Nobody's gonna buy that to review it. Moving on. Let's just keep on playing. There's a game called Breaks Are for Losers coming this month to the Switch, which it's an interesting title, at least. BAFL, E for everyone. Let's see. Skip through all of this trailer. You know what it looks like is a spiritual homage successor to a game called Off-Road that was in the arcade. It's a top-down 8 cars going in circles and loops and figure eights, trying to do as many laps as possible and get in first place and win. Now, just seeing other people, it says pure arcade and no brakes. Like, seeing other people play it, I'm not certain how it would play, if it would be a new type of gameplay mechanic, or if it would just play as a racing game. Now, I believe that arcade game, I think it's called Off-Road, would not have had a brake on it either, but you wouldn't have needed it. It was simply in the arcade, it did have a steering wheel, which actually makes it really hard to emulate because of the way the steering wheel worked, and you had like an accelerator paddle to stand on sometimes, depending on what version of the arcade you had. Just hit that. So it's out now for PC, so I need to see what the reviews on that are. Gematsu has an article. One Piece Grand Cruise launches May 24th in Japan, but it's a PlayStation VR via the PlayStation Store game. It has 2 gameplay modes: the Marine Battle versus Marines chapter and the Rappel versus Kraken chapter, which doesn't seem like it is too much of actual gameplay, and I think a big part of it is going to be talking to the main female protagonist of the One Piece series. Let's see. A Western release for One Piece Grand Cruise is planned for 2018, but the release date hasn't been announced. And we'll see if that actually happens. Let's see. Next game we have is called Brick vs. Paddle, so you can pretty well assume that this is an Arkanoid game. And with such an original name like that, you can also assume that it's made by MS Paint level graphics that look awful. It looks like it's a rather slow version of Arkanoid. Arkanoid is another one of those games that that in its original form is only good for basically somebody new to playing video games, and you need to play a modded version, a hacked version, to nearly double the speed, if not triple the speed, to get something that feels realistic. Remember, a lot of games were running at like 3, maybe as low as 3 frames per second when they first came out. 10 or 12 frames for like Super Mario Brothers, and that still felt pretty smooth. We're going at 60 frames per second now, so obviously there's going to have to be more speed in your game just for that, because people are used to interacting faster. Sometimes I think maybe maybe my speed is a little bit higher than an average person, but I certainly know I'm nowhere close to like some professional esports player that's doing something like StarCraft or anything like that. I'm nowhere close. Let's see, like 16 presses per second I think is the world record. If you can press a button 16 times in a second, I think that's a world record. I've tested myself, and my rough estimate is I can do about 12 button presses per second, just mashing as fast as possible. So, yeah, I'm not that fast. Let's see. Brick versus Paddle wants $8.99. No discount whatsoever. Nobody in their right mind would ever buy this game. There's been a one-time peak all time, and that's probably the creator of the game. So I did want to see BAFL. Breaks are for losers. Yeah, it's rated on Steam, mostly positive, 76 of 13 user reviews. Has had an all-time peak of 5 people playing it though. Came out October 18th on 2017. That's a real indicator of just how bad being an indie publisher can be on Steam, when according to Steam database only 5 people have ever played it. But I'm gonna wishlist this game. Like, I think BAFL, Breaks Are for Losers, has some chance to be good. Let's see. There we go. We now have 2 of those done, and I think we probably just want to switch over to the I think I want to switch over to the European account. I also want to test and see if I've forgot to reset my timer, because it seems like I would have been going 45 minutes by now, and that hasn't happened. Whoops. Well, we're gonna get another epic. Ooh, 2 epics. That's usually a little odd. A golden epic and an epic. So, more cards. Only 3 of which were extra. Switch over to my timer. Yeah, I did. We have been going 45 minutes. So, let's see what we got new. It's repetitive, certainly, to look at the new cards when you open the card pack, and then just really have to come and look at them a second time in this section. I think you probably, when opening card packs, when you hit the back button, it should just bring you to this menu to start off with. Well, we didn't get everything done, but I mean, playing 10 combo cards would be a pretty easy post show if we're going to get to a post show, which we probably will. So I'm going to wrap up here and then switch over to the European account. As always, I ask you to like, share, subscribe, click the notification bell, comment, and watch every second of my videos. All of that helps me out. If you want to support, friend, or follow me on any social media sites, there's a whole bunch of links down below in the description box. If you want to support me further, gift me something on Steam. Thank you for watching. Have a good evening.